Hey everybody, the Miser here. I received a lot of comments and some emails with questions regarding just a few features in Evony. I thought I would make another video. It's been a while, so I feel like it's about time to make a few more. So I'm going to split up the questions that I received into different Q&A videos. The first one is going to cover the questions that I have in my leftover there. So the first one is the Lucky Apple event with the dwarf pies and all that, the witches. What do you do? What's it all about? What do you recommend? And the next thing I'm going to talk about is duty officers, how to use those. I also have a little trick there, so take a look at that for sure. And the third question I have is how to get gold. I'm just going to point up to my screen. I don't know which side it's at. But up here, I'm at 1.6 billion gold, and I don't really play all that much these days with all the pandemic stuff that's going on. So I will give you some tips there. Gold is really, really easy and very achievable for anyone in an alliance. Okay, so starting off with the first question that I'm going to be talking about today, it's the Dwarfs Lucky Apple event and how to do that. So first of all, this happens pretty much these days every major event, not the minor one in between, but the major events. So if you click on the icon for the major events, you have your crazy eggs and all that, the all this stuff that's usually up there, and Dwarfs Lucky Apples right here. On the very first page, it tells you to collect wishing coins. You can get wishing coins, which are the currency for lucky apples, in a couple different ways. The first way is just resource spots. So when you're collecting lumber, food, and all that stuff, you will get wishing coins just automatically. And you can also get them very easily from monsters and bosses. I don't really go out of my way to get wishing coins. They just happen. All right. So when you do collect wishing coins, they'll show up here like this one that I have right here. And when you have a few of them, then you can go back into the Dwarfs Lucky Apple tab, click on Get Lucky Apples, and then you have a few options here. You have the red, yellow, and green. I'm just going to show you what the rewards are really quick. If you choose to spend 1 coin on the red apple, you can get any of these in here. You can get some resource boxes and a chance at getting a delicious pie. You're not going to get the whole thing. These are possible rewards. If you choose the yellow, which costs 3, you have possibilities of getting any of these. The delicious pies in there, of course, and you have mostly speed ups that you can get. The green one is quite a bit better. It costs 5, of course, more. But it does have significantly better rewards. You get teleporters, stamina, refining stone, research stone, and a chance at the delicious pie too. At the beginning, when this first was released, I tested a bunch of them, and I found from my own experience that green is the way to go. The drop rate on the delicious pie is, for me, about 20%. 1 in 5 is how many times for every 1 pie, it'll take me 5 refreshes of making a wish on the green apple, which is fine because I just consider it to be a bonus. If I get one of those Dwarfs delicious pie, awesome. If not, that's okay. I still get a bunch of items that are useful, like teleporters and refining stones and research stones. Those are all useful things. So definitely I would recommend go with the green apple, and then if it's the end of the event and things are going to disappear anyway, then spend what's left. But focus on the green apple. That's definitely the way to go. When you do get a delicious pie, let's say you do get one, it'll show up in your inventory here. And what you're going to want to do is go to your main map, and you're going to want to scan for, it looks like a witch in a blue-purple dress. And I have one saved here so you can take a look at what they look like. You've probably seen them all over. They're all level 1. There are no different witches around. You're not going to find a higher level. That's not really what it's all about. What you do here is, if you have the pie, you can click visit, and you will click visit here. It'll send a scout with a pie to deliver it to the witch, and then the witch in return will give the scout a witch's gift, which will come back to you. When you open the witch's gift, I don't have one to show you what the the rewards are, but from my recollection, it's several million of each resource, and it's very valuable. So don't let them go to waste. Definitely spend them, but I wouldn't go out of my way to really focus on getting coins and stuff. Just do what you normally do, and then make sure you use the coins and the delicious pies to get some bonus stuff. Okay, next question. The next question is a big one, and it was the duty officers and what they are, what it's all about. This is a feature that came in after Keep Level 30. So when 35 was released, this whole system was released as well, and it's very good. You definitely want to know how to use duty officers properly. Not all buildings have duty officer positions. You can click on them, and if you see it has an icon that says duty, then you know that it does. You can also go to the duty menu by clicking any one of them, and you can see all of the buildings that do have these positions. And make sure you scroll down too, because there's quite a few. All right. So basically what this is you can take a general that you have, assign it to a building, and because they are in charge of that building, they give you some benefits. For example, if I put a general on my archer camp, then if I click on I for information here, I'll see what possible things I could get. If I have a weak general, like a junior archer that only has 500 attack and 450 leadership, like he's got at least that, but does not have 850, so somewhere between there, they'll be assigned junior archer camp officer position, and these are the benefits that they will get right here. But if I put somebody in that's real strong, I might have a senior or a special that can give me better benefits. So you want to put somebody in there that is stronger. Let me just throw some random person on there, and you can kind of see how this works. So you just choose the general that you want. I've got way too many generals. Let's say I put on this Baybars here. He's going to be a senior archer camp officer because he fulfills 1150 and 1100 of attack and leadership, but does not make it to these ones here. Okay? All right, I don't want him on there. Let's see. What else can I tell you about this? So I'm not going to go through each one. You can do that on your own. Just remember, you can click I to find out what they all do. I will tell you, though, that there are some that are situational. Like, I'm not going to leave somebody on my archer camp or my barracks unless I'm actively training. So when I know I'm going to train a bunch of archers, I'll put somebody on my archer camp, and I will also put somebody on my keep because I get training capacity increase as well. And if I do that, then I can train more of them and faster. But as soon as I'm done, I take them off because they can be used elsewhere. Other buildings, other duty officers are ones that I'll keep in there permanently. For example, rally spot, I want to have my march size increased all the time. It's just a good thing to have a big march. So I have this guy sitting in there as a special rally spot officer, so he'll always be there. I also keep somebody in my embassy that is always going to be there because the plus 30% reinforcing troop attack, defense, HP, all that. Anytime you have a defense, whether you are reinforcing somebody else or you are getting attacked, these bonuses will be applied. And that's something that not everybody knows, but this 30% applies to your own defense as well. So that is definitely something you want to keep on full time. You possibly want to keep somebody on your hospital if you can manage it, because I mean, you don't want to lose as many troops. When you get to a certain size, hospital starts to not matter so much because I mean, you got way too many troops for the hospital to handle anyway. But if you don't, then that's definitely something to consider. And another one that you could consider keeping on full time is, well, that's about it. All the other ones are pretty situational, and you can just pop them on, pop them off. Like you might have somebody on your wall general that's completely decked out, but then you know you're bubbled, so you want to go and stick them on the market so you can tax, and then get that increased tax amount, and then put them back on your wall. That's perfectly fine. Just don't forget to put them back on your wall. That's, pretty important. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about with duty officers is the little trick here. And to do that, I want to point out something here. Look at my Mehmed this second. He's a special rally spot officer. So that means that he fulfills at least 1300 attack. He has 1300 leadership, and he has power of 3.3 million. And what that means is with his gear and a dragon or a spirit beast or all that, he had 3.3 million when I put him as a duty officer. Now, notice that I said when I put him on as a duty officer, because that's important. If you look at him now, he's naked. He's got no dragon. He's got no gear equipped. He's actually 1.3 million power. Not 3.3. His stats don't change. His stats are still big enough. 1300 leadership and attack. But his power is only 1.3. If I took him off and put him back on, he would only be a senior spot officer because he's naked. But because when I did put him on, he was wearing all that gear. I think he was maybe 4 million at the time. When I assigned him to the position, he fulfilled all those requirements. So after I've put him on, I can take off all the gear and he stays there permanently as that until I remove him again. And then I just have to throw the gear on. So that's one way you can do it. You can shuffle your gear around. Let's say you want to do some research and you need to put somebody up on your wall and you can make it to special. Then throw that gear on, buff them up, make sure they have the stats and they have the power, put them on, and then you can leave them there and take off all the gear and use it on whatever else you need to. All right, so that's a useful thing, especially if you have the gear, you have the generals, but you don't have the gear. Okay, last question. The last one is about obtaining gold. Now, this is something that has changed a lot in the last 6 months in Evony. Gold used to be really, really hard, and it took a lot of hard work to accumulate gold. You had to hunt golden goblins. You'll see that that's on my list. Yeah, you can still hunt golden goblins and you can still get chests, but it's not worth it. Really, there are easier ways. Even levy. You know, I'll go on in every day and I'll make sure that I levy, but where I used to click free levy and then maybe put in an extra 10, spend an extra 10 gems or so every day just to get a little bonus. I don't do that anymore. These days I just click free levy. And then you might be looking at my screen saying, well, this dude has 1.6 billion gold. How does he do that just with, you know, that? Well, it's true. I don't. The main income these days is through Vikings. And Vikings, I can't stress enough, are so important. My alliance, for example, when a Vikings event rolls around, every single person in the alliance, it doesn't matter if they are 10 million in size or 4 billion in size, everybody chooses hard Vikings, and from level 1 all the way to level 50 where it ends, you are sharing it to your alliance and you are getting it rallied. So even if you're 10 million power, if you're in an active alliance where people can actually make it to 50, you should. You should share it to your alliance from level 1. And even though the rewards don't look great, they are great. So share it to your alliance, get it rallied, and work all the way through. You do have to be pretty active during Vikings Day to make that happen. But if you do get through lots and lots, you can craft... I think I craft like 1 or 2 Achmedian pieces every time that Vikings come around, just from all the gear chests, you know, stacks and stacks of gear chests from all the Vikings. And I can get anywhere, depending on my activity, from 500 million gold to 1 billion gold. I go through gold so quickly from, you know, research and everything. It's very costly. But Vikings keep me more than well supplied. I never run out of gold. I have... You know, I could even be more active and make more gold. 1.6 billion. I don't worry about gold anymore. I think a few days ago, before the last Viking event, I was down to maybe 400 million or 500 million because I trained a bunch and did a bunch of research. And now I'm back up to 1.6 billion. So if you are active in Vikings, you will never have a gold problem. All right, I hope that was informative and that answered a few questions that you might have had. I will try to make another video or 2 answering a few more questions, such as how to earn gems And some people were asking how to level up generals and monarchs and all that, and I can answer those.